My name is Nirupam. I am the editor-in-chief of the Underwater Photography Guide and a content creator at Bluewater Photo, a dedicated underwater photo and video retailer. Today I'll be speaking with Doug from Kraken Sports about some of their top underwater photo and video innovations this year. Be sure to check out the description for links and leave any comments if you have any questions. Let's get started. So Kraken is a brand that makes underwater camera housings, lights, lenses, and a lot of innovative products for underwater photographers and videographers. Doug is here today to talk about some of the specials that we're having at Bluewater Photo for Black Friday, and some of the best products that are out in 2020.
Perfect. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you having me here and giving me a little bit of time to kind of go through some of our more popular products and some of the products that you guys are going to be offering some nice specials on for the holiday season. Our smart housing. This has been really popular. This is universal smartphone housing. So the unique part of it is it'll fit pretty much any iPhone and most Android phones all in the same housing. So when you do upgrade your phone down the road, you can keep using the same housing. It's an all anodized aluminum construction with a polycarbonate window on the back. So you've got a really nice big viewing screen for viewfinder. But the body is all anodized aluminum, so it's very strong and rugged. This cap on the front here, this is a vacuum port. So once you put your phone in, you can take the included pump and you just stick it on the front here, and you give about 6 or 7 pumps, and you'll get a vacuum seal. What that means is you can't open it. It's totally 100% leak proof. So you don't have to worry about taking your phone underwater and potentially having a flood. To release that vacuum, all you do is just grab that yellow tab inside and pull it to the side, and you'll hear it release. You can now open it up, take your phone out, upload your pictures right into the cloud or onto social media right away as soon as you get topside. It's run by 2 AAA batteries inside. That'll last you for about 5 to 7 days worth of diving. It's just Bluetooth that connects your phone and the housing together, so it uses very little power. You've got an O-ring seal around the door here, and then we have the self-adjusting shim, which basically adjusts your phone regardless of the size over to the viewport here, the lens port, so your camera and your phone will always line up. Simple cam buckle to open and close. There is a lock there, so if you don't have a vacuum seal, you won't accidentally open it. Very, very simple to use. Big shutter button on the top. That's what this guy is right here. Take the pictures, and then there are your menu buttons and switching between photo and video on the back. That red light there, that means it's not vacuum sealed. When you put the pump on the front, you can watch that it starts blinking, red, green, red, green. Once you get a solid green, you know you're safe to go. And then when you release it, you can see that it switches back to red. The neat thing with this product also is that you do have 2 threaded ports on the front by the lens port here. This lets you screw on a lens adapter and put on a variety of wet lenses that we have available, wide angle and macro both. They're all standard thread-on lenses. They're wet lenses, so you can take them on and off underwater. So that's a really neat feature to be able to add those lenses. You'll also see here that we have standard tripod mount on the bottom. So you can add it to an accessory tray, something like this guy here, which is our flex arm tray. This would just simply screw right onto the housing. And then you can add any sort of lights that you might want down the road onto the end of the flex arm right here. And we do have some lights that would work well with this setup on some Black Friday deals also. If you want something a little more sturdy, we do have an all aluminum tray here, which is adjustable, so the extensions pull in and out. It comes in both a dual handle, which you see here, or a single handle. This is all anodized aluminum. You'd go with a ball mount on the top of the handles and rigid aluminum arms. So you can do both options. The neat thing is either or, if you decide to grow up to a higher end point and shoot or compact camera, you can keep using these same trays. We're using a standard tripod mount on the bottom here, so it's nothing proprietary. So this has been a really neat package with a tray and a constant light to get some really great photos or video in a nice, compact, inexpensive package for somebody that's just looking to get into taking underwater pictures or video.
Do you know if this housing is compatible with some of the recent iPhone updates?
The iPhone 12 it works with. The iPhone 12 Max is too big.
Okay.
But the regular iPhone 12 is fine. Just the Max is too big.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, sure. And we are, down the road, we are working on a new, larger housing that will fit those other phones. But as of right now, we're just doing this one. So the most important thing is you want to make sure that you don't have any sort of case on your phone, as it'll likely take up too much space and won't fit. And then it's really simple. You just load up the Dive Plus app. It opens up, and there's a button here that you click to connect to a housing, which I can show you. Diving phone case, and then you just click scan to, and there's a QR code on the inside of the housing here. So once you've got the app open and you're trying to connect to the housing, you just simply scan this QR code here, and the two will link together. And then really all you need to do is just place the phone. Sorry if we can get it in view here. Just place the phone inside the housing, and you're all set to go. Lock it up, and then you can vacuum seal it, and you're ready to go diving. You can see there the camera's working. You've got ability to switch between photo and video, review your last picture, and then you've got almost essentially full manual control of the camera, also ISO, focus distance, all that stuff. Now there is two versions of this housing. There's a standard KRH04, which has all the features we've talked about here now. And then there is a KRH03, which is the Pro version. And that's what I'm holding in my hands here now. They look almost exactly the same. The only difference is this perforated disc right here. And this is actually a depth and temperature sensor. So in the Pro version in our app, we actually have a dive computer built in. So it has basic air tables in there, a compass. It'll keep track of all your dive information, and all that's built right into your phone, so you can easily go back and look at it through the logbook after the fact, which is kind of a neat feature.
That's pretty awesome.
Of the Pro version. The Pro version's about an extra $100. It just depends if you do want to have kind of a backup dive computer, or just you want to take pictures and video. So yeah, those are the two versions. And then for accessories, we've got the lenses that can go on the mount here. And then for lighting, we've got a few different models of lights which would work well with this, just depending on your budget you're looking at. We have lights that start at 1,000 lumens and go up to 12,000. Any one of them will work fine with the smart housing. Just depends on what sort of budget you want to spend and how large, or how big or heavy a light you want to use with it. We usually do say the more light you can give, the better results you're going to get. All of our lights are dimmable, so there's really no issue with having too much light. If you do find yourself in that rare instance, you can turn it down. So we'll start at kind of the entry level, which is the Hydra 1500. This is actually a brand new light. We've just released it. It's replacing the Hydra 1200. So it has all the exact same features as the old light. It just has an increase in brightness. We are using a new style battery, which is just slightly larger, but gives us that extra brightness and runtime. So very easy to use. All of our lights kind of utilize a similar style button. You press and hold. You can see it turns on. That's a battery level meter there, the red. So obviously red means the battery's low. So we'll see if we get enough juice out of it to kind of go through the features. So you start with a wide flood beam, and each time you press the button, it goes through its different brightnesses. It starts at 100% and then goes dimmer. I think it's 100, 50, and 25%, and then back to 100 again. If you press and hold down the button, you'll see that it just changed to a different mode. It's now actually a spot beam. So this makes for the wide beam is what you want to use when you're doing photo or video. The spot beam you can use for a standard dive torch for signaling or night diving, or going up through cracks, looking up through cracks and crevices during daytime diving. This also works good for creative lighting, for backlighting subjects, stuff like that. After that, if you press and hold, you do have a red mode, which makes a great focus light at night when you're shooting with strobes. The red light won't scare away any small critters or fish. They can't see the red, but it gives your camera enough light to focus. Press and hold again, and you're going to go back to 100% flood. To turn off, you just simply press and hold. Lights off. The one neat feature about the Hydra 1500 is it does also have a flash sensor. So in all those modes, you can turn on a auto flash off feature. So basically, whenever you're firing your strobe, this light will automatically turn off to make sure it doesn't cast any strange shadows or anything like that. It does come included with this YS mount here, which will mount on in our flex arm tray like this. Or any YS style arms, which have that mount on the end of them. We will show you just quick the battery here. This battery is a rechargeable lithium battery. The neat part about this is the charging port is actually, it might be too small to see here. There's actually a USB-C port right built into the top of the battery. USB-C is kind of becoming a new standard. The nice thing over the old style micro USB is it's reversible, so you're no longer kind of fumbling trying to get it in the right way. It's reversible. It doesn't matter which way you put it in, it's going to go in, and no need to carry any extra cradles or anything like that. Kind of any of your standard, phone, camera, laptop, any of those chargers will work with this already. It does come included with a USB-A to USB-C cable also. And actually the indicators show whether it's charged or charging. Right on the end of the terminal here, you can't see it, but it lights up either red or green when it's fully charged, ready to go. So that's kind of a unique feature. That's kind of we're one of the pioneers of using that. There are some other manufacturers, I think, using that now, but it is a really neat feature, handy to have. Just one less thing to worry about having that charging port built right in. All our lights have double O-ring seal, so you don't have to worry about any sort of flooding as long as you look after those O-rings. And you do have a hard attach point here on the end for a lanyard to make sure you don't, by accident, let it go to the bottom of the ocean.
And is that battery specific to the 1500, or could somebody buy that same battery for other models?
So this is actually, this is one of our first lights using this. It's called a 21700 battery. That's the size and the style. It's the new battery that Tesla is using. It kind of is size to capacity. It's kind of the best ratio. So all of our small torches in this size range are now all going to this same battery. So the Hydra 1500 or our dive torches and our 1500 or NR 1500Z, they all use this same style battery. It kind of replaces the older 18650. It was slightly smaller than this, but nowhere near the capacity. The battery included with this is 5,000 milliamps. The highest capacity on the 18650 is about 3,400. So it is a fair bit more capacity there for sure. It will work great with smartphone housing or any sort of compact camera, or as a focus light, of course. The big thing you have to remember is it's only 1500 lumens, so it does have its limitations. You've got to make sure you are up close to whatever you're shooting. Otherwise, you're going to lose the effects of that light the further you get away. So from there, we go on to the Hydra 2500 Macro Edition. This one kind of has all the same features as the 1500. The only thing that it doesn't have is the spot beam. It trades that for some UV lighting. So for phosphorescence, you can turn that on at night, and it'll make invertebrates and corals kind of glow all these colors that you didn't know existed. It's kind of like wearing all white under black light. So everything kind of glows differently, colors that you didn't even know were there. Because of the extra modes, this light has actually 2 buttons just to make it a little bit more easy to cycle through all those different features. And as you step up into these higher end models, the Hydra 2500, 3500, and 5000, the head itself is actually waterproof. It is sealed, so if you do happen to make a mistake and let the battery compartment flood, your head with all the electronics in it should be safe. Now, that's not to say if you flood it and leave it full of salt water for a day or two, it's going to rot out all these contacts in here. So you're going to toast it, but if you come up topside and get it in fresh water right away, it's going to be fine. Which is it's a pretty unique feature, being able to easily change batteries, but still have a waterproof head. So it's kind of best of both worlds. You can easily swap batteries between dives if you're doing back to back, but you still got the peace of mind of having a sealed head. The 2500 also, it comes with a YS mount. It does include a ball mount in the package too. If you want to mount it that way, you can. That's included. It's no extra charge. The other kind of really neat feature 2500 does have, if you look here on the bottom, there's 2 ports right here. They do 2 different things, obviously. One's a remote port and one's a strobe port. So you can control this light with an optional remote control, which we make. The neat thing is with that, you don't have to reach up if you do have your lights, kind of far away from your camera system. You don't have to reach up and adjust it. You can, you'll mount that remote right to your tray. You can adjust 2 lights at a time from that one remote. So if you are running more than 1 light and they are far away, it makes it really, really easy to adjust them, turn them on and off, or switch modes.
And can that remote trigger mount to any or is it any tray or just Kraken trays?
So we include mounts to mount to any Kraken tray. They would mount kind of, you can see on this tray here, there's a threaded port right here.
Okay.
We have an adapter that pops on there, and it would mount kind of right there. On our flex arm tray, that's what this little bar is for here. The bracket that mounts on there. We do make a Nauticam mount, so you can mount it on Nauticam tray. If you've got something else, we don't have a ready-made mount for it, but there's a few different options. The bottom of the remote has 3 quarter 20 threads on it. So you could get creative and mount it on, depending on what your tray setup is. I mean, there's almost endless out there. You can also, we have a ball that will screw into the bottom of the remote, and we have a clamp you could put it on, a pro clamp off to the side. So really you can mount it on almost anything. Just depends on your setup, how you're going to do that.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. And then the other port on the bottom of this is a strobe port. So you can actually connect this to your camera with a fiber optic cable, and it will trigger exactly like a strobe in a short flash burst of light. And because it's such a short flash burst, we can actually get increase the lumens. So instead of 2500, it's 4000 lumens. which, of course, isn't as powerful as a regular strobe, dedicated strobe. But if you're shooting macro, something really right up close, it kind of works as a good intro into strobes to getting used to shooting with something like that. And all you need is a fiber optic cable with a CNC style plug. It'll go right into there and connect you to your camera or your setup. So this one, I'll kind of quick go through the way you operate it. Just press and hold both buttons to unlock it. You can see it's lit up there. Once it's unlocked, you just tap the left button. It's going to turn on to the 100% flood. So your right button controls the intensity. You can see it cycling through intensity levels. Your left button controls mode. So there's your red, there's your UV, and then there's a mix of red and UV. It's kind of like a purple color. It's hard to show here. But what a lot of shooters have been using this for is creative lighting. So either side lighting or backlighting a subject. With this purple light, it kind of gives a really unique effect, which can, kind of give you a shot that you wouldn't have been able to get before. And after that, you're just going to cycle back through to 100% flood again. To turn it off, you just press and hold. You're off. One other actually kind of really neat feature too with this button arrangement, once you have it on, if you press and hold the left button, this is what we call sleep mode. So you can see it's still lit up here. It's unlocked. It's ready to turn on right away. But you can do this sleep mode. Doesn't matter what mode you're in, if you're in red or UV or power level. When you put it to sleep, you just press and hold that left button. If you press and hold it again, it's just a 2-second press. It's going to come back on at the same power level and same mode that you were using before. So if you're just in the dive and you're not seeing anything too interesting, but you want to conserve some battery life, but want to be able to get them on back, get your light back on quickly in whatever mode you had it in, you can use that sleep feature, which is really, really handy depending on the situation. So that's the 2500. It obviously comes with the battery pack and the charger. To charge it, you just remove the head, and on the top of the battery pack, there's just a DC plug. It just plugs into the top of the battery there, and off you go to charge. You're about 2.5 hour charge time on this light, so it's fairly quick. You can get spare batteries if you don't think you're going to have enough time to recharge between dives. You can easily do that too. From there, the next step up would be 3500, but the 3500 and the 5000, they are essentially the exact same light. The only difference is power level. So I'm just going to go through the 5000. It's what I have here. It's probably it's a little bit more expensive than 3500, but it's probably our most popular light. Retail price point $699 MSRP, so it's not much more than the 3500, but you're getting quite a bit more brightness. It's not much bigger. It's kind of right in that happy median of price point, size, and brightness. And there will be probably some holiday specials on that. You're going to want to look up Bluewater to see kind of what sort of holidays pricing there is, but there certainly will be some available. So the operation of this light, it's got the same double buttons. It's exactly the same as the 2500. Press and hold to unlock, and then tap to turn on. Comes with the ball mount and the YS mount. YS mount's installed. Remove it. There's just a slot head screw there. You remove it. The ball screws on. All that stuff's included. It does have a little bit different mode arrangement than the 2500. It's got a spot beam. It's got a flood. It's got red and UV. See if I can get her fired up here and kind of run through everything quick again. So double press to unlock, and then just tap to turn on. There's your spot, your red, your UV, and back to the start again. And you can adjust the brightness on all of them. This has the same feature set with the 2 ports on the bottom, remote and strobe. This is 5,000 lumens constant. In the strobe mode, it's 7,000. So you're getting up there to being quite a bit of light in a small package. And it's probably one of our most popular lights for sure. Any one of these will work with smart housing, like we said before, or of course any sort of video camera or any sort of camera for that matter. They can be used with to really bring you some extra light into your shot. One thing I will mention that I don't have here to show you is the 3500, which we skipped. It does have one feature that both those don't have, and it's an RGB mode. It's kind of similar to that purple mode in the 2500 I showed you for creative lighting. It just takes it one step further, and that it has a couple extra color of LEDs. So basically, you can go through, I think, about 12 different colors using those multiple color LEDs. It's basically RGB lighting underwater. So if you want to do any sort of creative lighting, it's a great option for that. I don't have one here to show you, but if you go on our website, or maybe Airprom can toss a link in, we have a video that kind of goes through that light on our YouTube channel and our website, which shows all those different colors. Yeah.
And is the RGB mode something that you think you'll be incorporating into future lights like the 5000?
In the future, we will slowly phase it in. Yes, just depends on time frame, but it has been popular, and we will start adding that as time goes on. It was kind of testing the waters with their 3500 to start, but it seems to be working well and people like it, so we'll probably continue to add that to the line.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's something I'd look forward to. I have a Kraken 5000 myself and love the light and I love the creative features. I've been able to take some awesome fluorescent video with the blue light. So
yeah, for sure. Kind of that whole Hydra series. It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of lights, because they have so many different modes. You can really use them in a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah.
Up from there, we'll kind of go to our kind of powerhouse here. This is more aimed at straight video shooters. This is the Solar Flare Mini. Let's see if I can grab it here. You will see, I might not have shown you, but pretty much all of our lights do come in some sort of case, depending on the size and the model. They all do come in some sort of nice protective case, which is nice if you're traveling, keeps everything kind of safe. So this here is Solar Flare Mini. It's 12,000 lumens. So it's got a lot of brightness in it for people that are shooting video. It does have a dome on it to keep that nice diffused beam. I think this is about 120-degree beam underwater, so it's extremely wide. It has the same 2-button operation. You'll see here though, there's only just one LED, so we don't have any of the other modes in this light, the other colors or spot beams. This is just straight flood. Mainly people that are going with this brighter light, they're just shooting straight video. We're trying to keep it compact. The head would be much bigger if we wanted to add more LEDs in here. So we're trying to keep it kind of compact, but pack as much power as we can in here. The other neat thing with this light is it actually has a port on the back here, and this port is a vacuum port. So very similar to our smart housing. You can vacuum seal the light. So not only is the head waterproof like the Hydra series, but you can actually vacuum seal the whole light, so it's totally safe and you know that you're not going to get any floods. The way that works is you just screw on the vacuum pump here, it threads on, and just basically, there's not much airspace in there, so 4 or 5 pumps, and there's an indicator on the light here that goes solid green, indicating it's sealed, and you're ready to go. To release it, you're just pressing the release in the center here. There's a silver button, and that releases the pressure. So it's very simple, easy to use, and gives you that extra peace of mind that you know that you've got a good seal there. The one thing we should note about vacuum seals or vacuum sealing things like our smart housing or this light is it means they're sealed at that point in time. The one thing you have to remember is buttons like these guys here or these guys on the back of the housing. If you don't clean your equipment properly, you can get salt in these buttons. And if you don't get that salt out, it dries, crystallizes, it will start to eat away at the O-ring seals. And that's what's keeping the water out, is an O-ring seal. And the salt can cut away. So you might have a seal here and you think you're okay, but if you haven't been maintaining your buttons, you might lose that seal underwater while you're pressing the buttons because you haven't kept them clean. So that is one thing that is really important across any sort of underwater camera gear, regardless if it's lights, housings, anything like that. If you want to keep your equipment safe, you want to make sure that you maintain it and keep it clean and keep that salt out of them. So that means, not just dunking in the crappy freshwater rinse tank when you're on the boat, but when you get back to your hotel room or wherever you are, really giving it a good clean fresh water, with some warm water, even a little bit of soap or vinegar in there, and working these buttons to get that salt out of there. That is really important, and we can't enforce that or talk about that enough. Anytime we see problems where people have had water get in the light, which is very, very rare, it's usually because of something like that, and it's just a maintenance issue. So sorry, that was a bit of a going off on a different direction there, but it is something we always want to talk about. It is really, really important. Anyways, so this is our solar for mini, 12,000 lumens, has the vacuum port built in, double O-ring seal. Battery is very similar to the other batteries, just a little bit bigger, of course, for extra juice. To charge it, you just plug into the top there on a DC port. Double O-ring seal. The head is waterproof again. This does have the ability to be controlled by remote, just like the Hydra series, and it does also have the strobe port. So it will be 12,000 lumens constant. If you hook it up to your camera with fiber optic cable in strobe mode, it's 15,000 lumens. So you're getting a lot of burst there. For shooting, for wide angle, it's probably not going to be enough, but for closer scenes, you can probably start, using this as a strobe replacement in some circumstances. Same as the rest of the lights, the YS mount included, balls packed in the bag, so you can use that if you do want. And that has been a very popular light for video shooters. After that, that's pretty much all we have to show today. We do have a couple new float arms here. These are carbon fiber, so they are very light, but do provide quite a bit of buoyancy. The smaller one here is 55 by 220 millimeters. That's 55 in width and 220 in length. That provides 200 grams of flotation in salt water. And the bigger one here, this one is 80 by 260, and this gives you 695 grams of buoyancy in salt water. And both those are they are available now. KR FAO 03 and 04. Those are both available. And if you are looking at some buoyancy to your rig that's getting a little heavy, they'll do an excellent job of that. We do have another large one similar to this, which I don't have here, but it looks pretty much exactly the same, except for there's a valve in the end of it here, and it's an adjustable buoyancy, which is really neat if you can't quite find the sweet spot between, juggling these back and forth on your system. You can actually let water into that model and flood it a little bit and take away some of the buoyancy, so you can kind of really dial it in and get your rig completely neutrally buoyant.
As we're finishing up, we actually forgot to bring a Kraken 1000 FE demo. So I'm going to clip in a little bit of information about that in this video now. And you guys can check out this new compact focus and video light. It has some really awesome features.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's very similar size to the Hydra 1200, which is this. Looks almost the same. You'll see it in the clip coming up. It's a really great light for creative macro shooters. It's got some really awesome accessories, a color wheel, and a snoot. It has a strobe option. So it really is a ticket, the ticket for guys or anyone that wants to get into kind of creative lighting in a macro setting. It will be a really great tool in your belt for sure.
I just had one final question. How are the burn times on each of the lights? Are they pretty similar across the board? And same with the charging times.
Yeah, so usually that's an important part. I don't know why I missed it today. I apologize. But yeah, all of our lights are about the same burn time all across the board. We kind of shoot for that hour to hour and a half window, which is essentially a dive. So it gives you enough to easily get through your dive, having it on constantly, just depending on the model. But yeah, about that hour and a half. If you look at the specifications of each model, you can see exactly what the burn time is. And then charging is about the same, 2 to 2.5 hours for the Hydra series. Some of the smaller lights with the 18650 batteries or 21700, they're up into the 4 hours. It's kind of finding a happy median. We don't want to charge the battery too fast, which can shorten the longevity of the battery, the lifespan of the battery. And we also don't want to create too much heat when we're charging, just for safety. And heat can be hard on the longevity of the battery also. So it's just kind of finding that sweet spot in both of those. But yeah, very similar, hour and a half, and 2 to 2.5 hours for charging. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No
well, guys, I think we're going to end the video here. It's been great talking to you, Doug. I should just wanted to put in as a final word, definitely check out the smartphone housing. It's a really excellent option for really anyone who wants to have a side camera for underwater photo and video. There aren't as many compact camera options out on the market anymore, as things have gotten a little bit more luxurious when it comes to underwater cameras. So if you're just starting out, I really recommend this as a good option to start out. A lot of people have migrated to taking photos with their cell phones, and I think it's a great idea if you're just starting out, or even if you're just a photographer who wants something on the side. So anyway,
sorry, before you jump off there, one thing to note too. We get people all the time asking about different features. The multiple cameras in your phone. If you can do 4K, if you can shoot RAW. You can't shoot RAW yet. Some very specific Android phones you can. Shooting 4K, not available yet. And same with the multiple cameras on your phone. All those things aren't available right at this time. We are building a new app, so it's just going to be a software upgrade. You're going to download a new app on your phone. You don't have to change the hardware at all, which will support 4K, shooting RAW, multiple cameras, all that stuff. That is all coming. So if you do purchase it now, don't worry. As soon as we get that new app ready, you're going to be able to download it and use it without a problem.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm looking forward to seeing that update. Sweet. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at sales@bluewaterphotostore.com. All of these are going to be, specials during our holiday sales. feel free to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. You'll get more content updates on items from Kraken, some of our reviews that we do, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.